This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Marissa Perlman in for Audrina Sinclair this morning. Thanks for starting your Monday with us. We're covering a shooting involving a police officer in Chicago's West Lawn neighborhood. This morning, we're learning no one was hit, but it seems multiple shots were fired.
And shots fired on a CTA bus. Police say it all started with an argument.
And as we take a live look outside on your Monday, calm right now, but we are watching out for possible storms later tonight. We are in weather alert mode this morning.
So let's bring in meteorologist Kylie Miller in the First Alert Weather Center now to talk about that. Good morning, Kylie.
Good morning. That weather alert mode starts tonight, lasting into early tomorrow morning. During today, you can expect warm temperatures already in the 60s. We're at 65 degrees for Midway, 64 in Gary. Good morning to you in Rensselaer, 63, 60 for Morris. This afternoon, temperatures will climb into the 70s by lunchtime and then reaching highs today in the low 80s. It is going to be windy with a wind out of the south that's pumping in more mild air, but the winds will be gusting upwards of about 40 miles per hour. We're under a level 2 out of 5 on the risk scale for a severe storm threat overnight and into your Tuesday morning. All weather alerts hazards are on the table for that storm system that's going to be rolling through tonight. Your hour-by-hour forecast coming up when I return.
Kylie, thank you. Now to your nonstop news. A shooting investigation now underway in Chicago's West Lawn neighborhood.
Chicago police tell us an officer was involved but was not shot. Our Darius Johnson live from the scene now where officers are still investigating hours after this incident. Good morning, Darius.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you both. This happened around 5 o'clock this morning, and if you take a look, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability is still here on the scene. Right now, we're at 67th and Hamlin, and they tell us that they're investigating an officer-involved shooting here in the West Lawn neighborhood, and the only information we have is coming from Police Scanner as we await for police to confirm the details. Take a look at this video. Police Scanner indicates shots were fired by offenders and an off-duty officer. A CPD spokesperson came to the scene earlier this morning just before 7 a.m. and tells me the officer was not shot, but that officer has a minor injury to his ear and refused treatment. Over Police Scanner, we heard that shots were fired by offenders and an off-duty officer. Again, that off-duty officer was not shot. It's unclear exactly how all of this started. However, we've seen several back passenger side windows missing from possibly 3 different vehicles between Lawndale and Springfield, so spanning for about 2 different blocks here. Police Scanner also indicates 4 offenders were in a black sedan. They got in that black sedan and they left the scene heading westbound. Back out here live this morning in the last 30 minutes, we had a chance to speak with one woman who tells us around 5 o'clock this morning, she woke up to see police on her block and to see her neighbor's back window busted out. She tells us she did not hear any gunshots before that. Again, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability is here on the scene. They are required to be here whenever an officer fires their weapon. No one is in custody at this time, and again, as I reiterated in the beginning, we are still waiting for Chicago police to confirm the details that we heard over police radio. We're live here in West Lawn this morning. I'm Darius Johnson. Ladies, back to you.
All right, Darius, thank you so much. And police say an argument led to someone being shot on a CTA bus in Portage Park. Now, this happened around 11:45 last night on Belmont near Cicero. Police tell us a 40-year-old man and another man were arguing on that 77 Belmont bus. The other man got off the bus and then started shooting. The 40-year-old was shot twice and another person on the bus was grazed by a bullet near his ankle. No one is in custody. Coming up at 9:30, our SL Rezai will join us live from the scene with more information.
And right now, police are looking for a driver they say hit and seriously hurt a woman before speeding off. Now, we're told the 28-year-old woman was hit early yesterday morning near 69th and Ashland in the Englewood neighborhood. Police just releasing these pictures of the SUV they're looking for on your screen right now. It is a white or silver with a missing license plate and a temporary paper plate on the top left corner of the rear window. Call police if you recognize the car. And in Westridge, police say a man is breaking into homes, robbing people, and sometimes sexually assaulting the victim. The most recent was Friday on Campbell near Glen Lake. In some cases, he breaks into the home. Other times, he robs the victim as they're going into the home. Police say the man is armed with a knife and gets away on a bike. There have been 5 different incidents since late December.
There is new speculation about a possible presidential run for Governor J.B. Pritzker. Now, this comes after Pritzker spoke at a dinner last night for New Hampshire Democrats. The state, of course, is home to the nation's first presidential primary every 4 years. Pritzker had this call to action for his party.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
Pritzker has not formally said whether he's going to run for president in 2028, but he took some veiled shots at other Democratic leaders without naming names and criticized some for going on podcasts and listening to what he called a, quote, bunch of know-nothing political types. California's Governor Gavin Newsom currently has a podcast where he entertains both liberal and conservative voices.
Well, a Palestinian envoy is telling the United Nations top court that Israel is killing Gaza civilians and targeting aid workers there.
The hearing in The Hague is focused on a request by the UN General Assembly after an agency that helps Palestinians was blocked from working in Israel.
No humanitarian aid or commercial goods have been allowed into Gaza since the 2nd of March, which has devastating humanitarian consequences in the Gaza Strip. The Secretary General continues to call for humanitarian aid to reach all people in need.
Israeli officials who did not attend the hearing denied those claims, saying Israel is being persecuted. It comes as Israel admitted last week to attacking a UN guest house, killing a staff member. Multiple countries, including the U.S., will speak at the hearing. The U.S., who voted against the original resolution, will speak Wednesday. Now, this comes as officials say more than 52,000 people in Gaza have died since the start of the Israel-Hamas war in October 2023. That's according to the Hamas-run Palestinian Ministry of Health. Now, while the agency does not differentiate between civilians and militants, they say the death toll includes more than 16,000 children and 12,000 women. The death toll also includes those killed over the past 6 weeks when Israel relaunched its attacks after a ceasefire deal collapsed. Israel has said it will not stop the war until all hostages are returned and Hamas is defeated. The Israel Defense Forces say there are 59 hostages still in Gaza. 24 are believed to still be alive.
Now to Yemen, where Houthi rebels claim a U.S. airstrike killed dozens of African migrants being held in prison there. Houthi rebels say 68 people were killed and 47 others were hurt too. The U.S. military has yet to comment on this. Ethiopians and other African migrants have landed in Yemen for years trying to cross the war-torn nation and reach Saudi Arabia for work opportunities. The Houthi reportedly make thousands of dollars a week smuggling migrants across the border.
A live look now at Vatican City, where crowds continue to gather to mourn Pope Francis. This is the third of 9 days of mourning before the process of choosing the next pope begins. This morning, the Vatican announced the conclave will begin Wednesday, May 7th. Now, tourists hoping to get inside the Sistine Chapel ahead of the conclave are being turned away. The Vatican closed the famous church for now before cardinals gather to cast their votes. Preparations are underway. One key task is installing the chimney where ballots will be burned after the votes.
Well, new developments around Russia's war in Ukraine.
The temporary ceasefire announced early this morning as the Trump administration tries to broker a peace deal. Plus, 10 people on trial for the violent robbery at Kim Kardashian's Paris hotel. It is now underway, and Kardashian's lawyers share whether she'll take the stand.
We're tracking our next storm system that could be bringing us some severe weather overnight into your Tuesday morning. The newest timeline when I return.
Welcome back, everyone. 3 former Tennessee police officers are in court today in the death of Tyree Nichols. Nichols, a black man, was beaten to death after a traffic stop in Memphis in 2023. Opening statements are expected to begin for former Memphis officers Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith. All 3 have pleaded not guilty in this case. The jury was chosen from eastern Tennessee's Hamilton County after a judge ordered the case be heard by people who do not live in the same county of Memphis. The officers have already been convicted on federal charges. And Kim Kardashian expected to take the stand in a long-awaited trial more than 8 years after a violent robbery at her Paris hotel. 10 people are on trial for robbery and kidnapping charges. They're accused of breaking into Kardashian's hotel room, tying her up, and then stealing more than $6 million worth of jewelry during Fashion Week. 2 of them have acknowledged their participation, and the others have denied it. Well, tomorrow night, President Donald Trump will celebrate 100 days in office with a rally in Michigan.
But a new CBS poll shows his support is slipping. Naomi Ruckham breaks down the top issues people are critical of.
As President Trump marks his 100th day in office, new CBS News polls show his approval ratings have dipped since early February. A key sticking point, the president's trade war.
The good news is costs are way down, groceries are down, it's all looking good, the tariffs are strong.
But a majority of Americans say the president is too focused on tariffs and not focused enough on lowering prices. The president gets higher marks on his other top issue, immigration. More than half of those surveyed support his administration's program to deport undocumented immigrants. But more controversy over the weekend. Lawyers for 2 families say 3 children, all U.S. citizens ages 2, 4, and 7, were deported to Honduras with their mothers Friday morning, following a routine check-in with immigration officials. A federal judge has scheduled a hearing for next month, writing of the 2-year-old that he has, quote, strong suspicion that the government just deported a U.S. citizen with no meaningful process. The president's border czar, Tom Homan, pushed back on CBS News Face the Nation Sunday.
It's not a government decision, it's a parent's decision.
President Trump met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky before the Pope's funeral Saturday.
He wants to do something good for his country.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said yesterday that this is a critical week for the administration to decide whether to continue involvement in peace talks with Russia and Ukraine. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
And as the Trump administration pushes for the 30-day ceasefire, Russian President Vladimir Putin just declared a 3-day ceasefire in Ukraine. The truce will be from next Thursday through Saturday for World War II Victory Day. Putin called on Ukraine to do the same. Ukraine's foreign minister emphasized that Kyiv is ready for a lasting, reliable, and complete ceasefire for at least 30 full days. But he did not specify if Ukraine would accept this new proposed truce.
Meanwhile, it is Election Day in Canada, and we could find out the results as soon as tonight. The campaigns have largely revolved around the Trump administration's trade war. Canadians don't directly vote for Prime Minister. That job's determined by whichever party wins the most seats in Parliament. Prime Minister Mark Carney replaced Justin Trudeau as leader of the ruling Liberal Party 6 weeks ago. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre leads the rival Conservatives.
Canada is not America.
Who's ready after this lost Liberal decade of rising cost and crime to fire this incompetent government and bring change to Canada?
Pierre Poilievre's Trump-like policies have led to the evaporation of the party's double-digit lead. The latest polls show Liberals have an edge, but it is close.
Well, Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter tour kicks off tonight. She's performing at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The Queen will have 32 shows across 9 cities, and we don't have to wait too long to see her here at home. She'll be at Soldier Field for 3 nights starting May 15th. And I think we're going to see long lines, a lot of people headed to Soldier Field here at home.
Yeah, it'll be crazy. I remember her last tour here a few years ago, and it went late. You could see the lights on at Soldier Field until like 11:30 at night, and hordes of people. I'm sure people are looking forward to it.
It's like the show outside the show.
Yeah,
you know?
Right, exactly. And all the merch stuff.
Exactly.
People are going to be buying there too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a sign of summer, Beyonce. Also, we're feeling like summer today.
I know concerts are getting going. They're going to be outdoors here very soon. And if you're going to be walking outside for today, it's going to be warm. So any of those heavier jackets that you might be wearing right now, you can shed those later on today, as it's going to feel like summer. Temperatures are going to be hovering in the low 80s. Windy conditions today with gusts upwards of about 40 miles per hour. The timeline for some severe storm potential is going to be 10 p.m. tonight until 5 a.m. Tuesday morning. All weather hazards are on the table. Damaging wind gusts going to be the main concern, followed by hail gale, maybe a spin up brief tornado, but we are fine-tuning the forecast as we're getting that newer weather model data in as we get closer to the event time. But in the meantime, for the short-term forecast, today it's going to be lovely. Temperature is going to be hovering near 70 degrees by lunchtime, and then we are breaking out into those low 80s this afternoon. Today I'm calling it a good mix of sun and clouds, but it is going to be windy with these southerly winds really pumping in that mild air. But gosh, upwards of about 40 miles per hour will be possible. So secure anything loose that you have outdoors. We are watching our next storm system that is currently impacting portions of the Midwest. You can see where that bullseye is, but for us here in Chicago and Northwest Indiana, we're under a level 1 and 2 on the risk scale. So what does this mean for us? We're going to be dealing with isolated to potentially widely scattered strong to severe storms overnight and into your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at the latest time frame with your hour-by-hour futurecast. I think after about 10 o'clock, that's when we're going to start to see some showers moving through. Storms will develop for the early morning hours of your Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, drier conditions, and we're going to be seeing our temperatures still in the 70s tomorrow. Today, though, warmer with a high of 81, gusty winds, and then tonight, showers and thunderstorms going to be possible. As we head into your Tuesday, again, a weather alert has been posted for the morning hours. By the afternoon, we'll have drier conditions before more rain and storms impact us for the middle of the week as temperatures get a little bit cooler in the 50s as well as the 60s. Dana, I'll send it over to you.
All right, Kylie, thanks so much. Let's get a check of your traffic times, your drive times right now. As you can see, there's lots of slowdowns out there. The worst of it, really, the inbound Kennedy right now at 54 minutes in. And you might call this a necessary nuisance. The State Street Bridge over the Chicago River is now closed and will stay closed until November. The Chicago Department of Transportation says a recent inspection turned up signs of deterioration, showing the bridge needs emergency repairs. So no cars or foot traffic will be allowed. You can get over the river, of course, using any of the other bridges downtown. And next, we are live with Cedric the Entertainer, who's getting ready to wrap up another season of The Neighborhood before the final season starts in the fall.
And we are jump-starting your day at Bitter Pops, the bar celebrating 9 years with bites and beers from all over the world.
What's that smell?
Hey, that smell is character.
Well, it has been a CBS favorite for 7 seasons, but the hit comedy The Neighborhood is soon coming to an end.
The show's 8th and final season will start in the fall, and there's just 3 episodes left of season 7. And joining us now live, what a treat, is Cedric the Entertainer, who of course stars in the show and also directed some episodes. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? Dana, Marissa, how you guys doing?
We're all right.
Yeah,
we're all right.
we're
Thanks so much for asking. You know, I know your show's had quite a successful run. How do you feel about The Neighborhood preparing for its 8th and final season?
I mean, one, you just can't take it for granted. This day and age, to have a show last this long, you know, it is a blessing in and of itself. And so we're also happy with the opportunity of being able to kind of like complete our story and to know that we're going to be kind of building up to an ending where we can, like, you know, kind of tell the story the way we want to. Though I am petitioning for seasons 9, 10, and 11.
Oh.
Okay, so just throw it out there. If anybody wants to join on, we can do an email sign up.
Was that a scoop? Are we the first to hear that, Cedric, or is
No, I just love. We love doing this show. The cast has a good time with it, and we know that these shows, you know, have a certain shelf life. But if we could keep going, we would. So that's all we're saying. We love it.
It would be the end of an era, that's for sure. And I know that you've directed several episodes in the series. What's that like for you? You know, is it challenging to both direct and star in the show at the same time?
It is, you know, because, you know, you have to really be prepared to paint the picture when you're a director. You have to literally do all that. When you're an actor, you're just one of the colors on this, you know, on the canvas. And so, you know, somebody kind of like tells you to come in and do your thing, and you kind of, you know, you add that to the script, and you you do your part. But when you're the director, you got to see it all. You got to, know how many cups in the background. You need to know when move that pillow. It's irritating. I don't like that behind her head. All these weird little things that you're, looking at when you're kind of telling the whole story of an episode. So, but it also makes me the ultimate boss that week. I'm already like the executive producer and then the star of the show. But when I'm the director, all those other actors need to really get in line and stay out of my parking space.
You're putting the hammer down. Okay, I have to ask you, of all the hats you wear, though, EP, director, actor, which is your favorite?
I love acting. I love playing the character Calvin Butler. He's so much fun. But I think that that I have the opportunity to be involved in the show from the top down, knowing where the scripts are coming from, seeing them ahead of time, being a part of the editing, like being a part of the casting. Like I'm able to really kind of see the show from a really cool visionary POV, and so I think that that's what makes me enjoy it even more. But just once the cameras turn on and just to be Calvin and act crazy and have a good time and be cantankerous for no reason, it's just one of those fun things to do.
And that is where you shine. So we have tonight's episode and the season finale next week. Quickly, what can you tell us about the final episodes?
Final episodes is really a setup to show that the family is growing. My oldest son is moving away from the neighborhood, and we just kind of wanted to show that that's what happens. The life happens, and it keeps growing, it keeps going forward, and so now we have to kind of be prepared for that. And so that was one of the things that we thought was going to be a good setup for season 8.
All right, Cedric the Entertainer, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Good luck with the 8th season. I hope it's a success, and keep us posted on your petition for the 9th and 10th seasons as well.
We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you.
Let's go. All right, I appreciate it.
All right, take care. The Neighborhood, of course, airs Monday nights, so that's tonight at 7. You can watch it on CBS or Paramount Plus, and Paramount, of course, is the parent company of CBS. And next at 9:30, shots fired on a CTA bus. 2 people were hit, and police say it all started with an argument on board.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Marissa Perlman in for Adrena this morning. It is 9:30. Thanks for staying with us on your Monday. Let's start you off with your first alert weather forecast. We are in weather alert mode because we are tracking some possible storms later tonight. But right now, wow, a gorgeous shot of a beautiful day ahead. Meteorologist Kylie Miller has a look at what to expect and when. Good morning, Kylie.
Good morning. Lots of sunshine during the daylight hours with warm temperatures too. But once the sun goes down, and especially closer to about 10 p.m., that's when we're going to start to see some showers and storms building in from our next storm system. All weather hazards are on the table, but the main concern will be damaging wind gusts. Chicago still under level 2 out of 5 on the risk scale for the potential for that severe weather. But for today, temperatures are going to be soaring into the 70s by 2 p.m. and then around dinner time, we're going to be in the low 80s. So it's really going to be a gorgeous day, but it's going to be windy with gusts upwards of about 40 miles per hour this afternoon and during the overnight period as we see that passing cold front impact us for tomorrow. Your hour-by-hour forecast with that latest storm chance coming up with my next look at weather.
All right, Kylie, we'll check back in with you soon. Thank you. Let's take a check at your drive times right now. 9:30 on the dot. Heavy inbound on the Kennedy at 52 minutes. Outbound a bit lighter, but still looking at some delays on the Eisenhower and the Kennedy too. Now to breaking news we've been following overnight. At least 2 people were shot while near a CTA bus.
It happened in Portage Park. Asal Razai is live at the scene on the northwest side right now. Asal, any updates?
Yeah, Dana, Marissa, police telling us a conversation between 2 men on a CTA bus ended in gunfire as they were getting off of the bus at the stop here just behind us. Take a look at video we have of the scene. You'll see 2 bullet holes in the windows of the back door of that CTA bus. This is bus number 77, the Belmont bus near Cicero. It happened just before midnight. You can see red police tape at one point stretching across the scene. Chicago police and Chicago fire paramedics responding to the shooting here. Police say a 40-year-old man got into an argument with another man on the bus. As they were getting off the bus, The other man pulling out a gun and firing several shots. Before he got away, that 40-year-old victim was shot in the stomach and in his leg. He was taken to a nearby hospital in fair condition. We know another passenger, a 22-year-old man, was also hit on the bus by a bullet. He was grazed on his ankle. He was also taken to a hospital in good condition. One woman who didn't want to show her face on camera says her husband was one of those victims who was shot. Take a listen.
A kid started talking to my husband. My husband went to get off the bus, but I could tell that he had a gun on him. And when the kid got off, I pulled my husband back, and then he started to shoot at the bus.
And we've reached out to the CTA this morning. They say they're aware of a disturbance that happened at the bus stop here. They say CPD is investigating. We reached out to police. They say so far they don't have anyone in custody. Reporting in Portage Park, I'm Asal Razai, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Asal, thank you. Well, classes will go on this morning at Illinois State University as police look for a shooting suspect. One person was shot and taken to the hospital after gunfire broke out last night around 7:40. The university says the victim is not a student. Police say it happened near the Bone Student Center while a student organization was holding some sort of event. The student center remains closed. And today is the visitation for fallen Chicago Fire Captain David Meyer. Yesterday, the Archdiocese of Chicago paid its respects to him. The community came out for a mass in his honor where mourners talked about his service and sacrifice. This was at Holy Name Cathedral. Mayor Brandon Johnson was one of hundreds of people in attendance. Now, the nearly 30-year CFD veteran died Wednesday responding to a garage fire in the Austin neighborhood. In court over the weekend, prosecutors said 44-year-old Charles Green intentionally set that fire. They say evidence found on Green's clothing at his home places him at the scene of the fire. He is now charged with first-degree murder and arson. Captain Meyer's visitation taking place today at Malik & Sons Funeral Home. That's at 6000 North Milwaukee Avenue. And his funeral is set for tomorrow at St. John Brebeuf Parish at 10 a.m. in Niles. Investigators are now saying the man suspected of plowing a car into a crowd in Vancouver over the weekend was not motivated by terrorism.
We know at least 11 people were killed in the attack at a cultural festival with dozens of others hurt too. Naomi Ruckham has more now on what led up to this incident.
A gruesome scene Saturday night in Vancouver on what locals are now calling the darkest day in the city's history. Police have identified 30-year-old Kai G. Adam Lowe as the man they believe bypassed barricades, ramming this crumpled black SUV through a festival celebrating Filipino heritage.
He just pushed the gas all the way through the whole block.
Investigators say the suspect was not motivated by terrorism and was known to police through his significant history with mental health issues.
The community is devastated. The Filipino community, residents of Vancouver, we're heartbroken, we're sad, we're scared, and there's a bit of anger there too.
The attack came near the end of the Lapu-Lapu Day Festival, a block party attended by many of Vancouver's more than 38,000 residents of Filipino heritage. Filipinos represent nearly 6% of the city's population.
I know that I join all Canadians in mourning with you. I know that Canadians are united with you.
After the attack, the suspect was detained by the crowd until authorities arrived. He was heard saying, "I'm sorry."
I definitely feel like it's etched in my brain forever.
Those killed range in age from 65 years old to as young as 5. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
The suspect has been charged with 8 counts of second-degree murder. Further charges are expected. His next court appearance is scheduled for the end of May.
Well, today the village of Niles will demolish the former Leaning Tower YMCA residential building. The old YMCA is named for the replica of the Leaning Tower of Pisa that stands in front of it along Touhy Avenue. The YMCA closed the membership facilities in 2020, and the next year the housing complex also closed. Last year, the Niles Village Board bought the property for $2.1 million. This morning's event marks a step in the village's plan to revitalize the area around the Leaning Tower. But the tower itself was was just restored and will stay put. Well, a center to help young men on probation live better lives officially opened yesterday. The Dr. Dennis Deere Community Justice Center just opened at 14th and Keeler in North Lawndale. There was a dedication ceremony here and interfaith service to mark the occasion. The center can house 20 people, offering free furnished apartments as well as free legal and employment assistance. There are fitness options and mental health services as well. The program is part of the Lawndale Christian Legal Center. Well, a big announcement from mega church Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's stepping away from the pulpit and handing the reins over to his daughter and son-in-law. Jakes founded the Potter's House Church back in 1996 and gained a huge television following of faithful. The new leadership comes after Jakes suffered a heart attack in the middle of a sermon on stage back in November. Jakes says he will still continue his work in this community.
The executive producer of 60 Minutes resigned last week, and last night's show took a moment to address the departure of Bill Owens.
Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along.
Owens worked for CBS News for 37 years, spending 24 of those years on 60 Minutes. We should note Paramount is also the parent company of CBS News Chicago. Next, a local high school a cappella group back home after winning 4th place in an international competition. Not bad.
You know not to sweat the small stuff, but don't just stress about how to get to that big prize. In today's Mental Health Minute, how little steps will get you there.
Warm and windy conditions today before a storm threat arrives late tonight into your Tuesday morning. Your first.
Welcome back, everyone. We are jump-starting your week with a bit of a birthday celebration for one Chicago bar that serves beer, coffee, and food, too.
And so much more. Bitter Pops, which is located on the border of Lakeview and Roscoe Village, is turning 9. And to celebrate, it's offering the iconic Chicago Franchise. What is that? Well, we're about to tell you. We're back now with Bitter Pops marketing manager Troy Cronkright. Okay, for people who are like, what exactly is that? What is a franchise?
Yeah, I mean, the Franchise, that's Chicago's other hot dog. It's a bacon-wrapped hot dog with cheese on top. And this specific hot dog uses Franchise beer, which we collaborated with Hot Butcher on. So that's the beer cheese on top. You can get the great West Coast Pilsner taste out of that beer cheese. We're also doing our anniversary burger smothered in beer cheese too. It's got a little bacon on it and a pretty great way to start your morning, I'd say.
Okay, so now it's almost 9:45. That's starting to look really good.
Oh, that's because it's our dinner time, practically.
Right. Exactly. Okay, Troy, so right now you're in the tap room.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, well, it's got bacon on it, too, so it's a good breakfast burger for you.
Totally. Breakfast.
It's brunch.
It's brunch. Yeah. You could do no wrong. I know you're in the tap room now, Troy. Can you show us a little bit around? It's a very cool-looking space.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the tap room. This is where a lot of folks in the morning time will kind of hang out and do some remote work, obviously sip on their coffees and stuff like that. And then after 11, when we open up and start serving beer, folks come in, grab some beers. And then most days we're open for lunch at 11:30 as well.
Oh, that's pretty.
And then the tap room, yeah, absolutely. And then the tap room wraps around all the way through past our coffee bar and then into our retail space as well, where we've got beer, wine, and spirits.
What is your favorite part of Bitter Pops? Your favorite section, if you will? Not what you sell, but do you like I love the fireplace, for instance. I mean, what's your favorite area?
Oh yeah, I mean, hanging out in the tap room, you really can't beat it. It's another part of the tap room. We have a really great patio as well. I love on a nice sunny day having a beer out on the patio, or I'll usually try and enjoy my lunch out there as well.
And this is a great day for some patio time, that's for sure. Okay, Troy, before we let you go, tell us what's next for Bitter Pops. Celebrating 9 years, what are some of the upcoming celebrations?
Absolutely. So yeah, this coming Sunday, May 4th, we have a wine market. We're going to have over 40 different kinds of wines, all set up throughout our retail space. Tickets are just $10. You're going to be able to sample a ton of rosés, whites, perfect spring and summer sippers. And then all throughout May, we're really celebrating a ton of beer. We've got our newbies and freshies market towards the end of the month as well. We're celebrating with Phase 3 Brewing May 17th. They have a really special exclusive release that they're doing. All these events are also up on our events page at bitterpops.com, so feel free to check that out as well.
Awesome, Troy. Thanks so much for hanging with us all morning and showing us all around Bitter Pops. It looks fantastic, and I'm sure there are so many of us who can't wait to give it a try if they've never been there before.
Thanks, Troy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for coming along. Yeah, thank you guys too, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right, sounds great, Troy. Thank you. Well, today is the special 103rd birthday for Earl Frazier on Chicago's West Side.
We were there for a birthday bash to celebrate him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Earl's family and his friends got together for cake and, of course, congratulations. Now, Earl blew out his birthday candles to celebrate, and as his shirt says, he is 103 and still playing with a full deck. Earl's parents were sharecroppers in Mississippi. So was Earl back when he was 12. He told us kindness is key to a long life.
If you be mean to people, some of them take you down. But I was always good and give. I didn't take, I give.
Earl is the father of 4. He has 11 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. After retiring from a long-time job at age 65, he went to work again rehabbing and flipping houses. Check out this before and after right there. He says he wanted to make the old houses beautiful and that hard work made him a millionaire. That's pretty fantastic.
Wow.
Like, you know, a lot of people just want one career, but he's had sharecropping and then whatever he did until age 65 and then house flipper.
Kind of amazing. He's gold.
He's like an inspiration.
I love it.
I
Absolutely.
know. Well, a huge win for Lockport Township's a cappella group Vocal Point this weekend.
Yeah, after leaving our studio on Friday, they went to New York where they took part in an international competition.
And our outstanding soloist tonight for Crown of Vocal.
So exciting. The ladies placed 4th overall, and Gabby Costello won Outstanding Soloist. I caught up with them this morning to hear about how their performance stood out.
I truly think at the beginning of our set, we had a Bulgarian piece. It's a very famous choral piece. We integrated it into our contemporary set called Temin Oblak. And I really think it was a very standout moment because it's not in English and it was a very in-your-face beginning to the set.
So cool. Absolutely amazing vocals here, guys. The wind didn't keep them, though, from going back to class. So we spoke with them about 7:20 this morning. They were back in class when the school day started at 7:45. So some dedicated students there, too.
Pitch Perfect.
Yes.
It reminds me of Pitch Perfect, which honestly, I know that was, you know, a series of movies, but those a cappella performances in the movies always just blew my socks off.
So they were here on Friday, and I said, is it really, what's competition like? Is it really like Pitch Perfect? And they all said, yes, it's exactly like what happens in the movie. So.
Wow. So it's pretty cutthroat.
Yeah, it's tough competition for sure.
All right, what do we got going on weather-wise, Kylie?
It's going to be a nice day. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures warm today, but it will be windy too. Winds gusting upwards of about 40 miles per hour. And then after we have this really nice summer-like weather today, tonight things take a change. We are going to be monitoring the potential for strong to severe storms overnight tonight into your Tuesday morning as we see a passing cold front impact us. So So a weather alert has been posted for late tonight and into tomorrow because we are going to be in for the potential for some stronger storms. But let's talk about the nice weather that we have right now. Stepping outside, temperatures for most of us currently in the 60s. By the afternoon, upper 70s to the low and mid 80s. It's going to be one of the warmest days that we've experienced so far here in Chicago this year. So it's really going to be warm, but these southerly winds going to help usher in those wind gusts upwards of about 40 miles per hour, the warmer temperatures, and then combine that with our next storm system. The clash of the air masses is going to give us a chance for some strong to severe storms. Chicago under a level 2 out of 5 on the risk scale, and then a level 1 across northwest Indiana. Regardless where you're at today during the daylight hours, dry conditions. I'm calling it a good mix of sun and clouds before we start to see that rainfall moving in closer to about 10 p.m. tonight. I think showers and storms will be impacting us between midnight and about 5 a.m. So for tomorrow morning, the early morning risers, it is going to be, we are going to be dealing with some of these hit and miss rain showers, potentially a few rumbles of thunder. And then as we go through your Tuesday, late morning, early afternoon, we will have improvements in the weather department and our temperatures will still stay mild. For today, 81 for your high, gusty winds, warm temperatures. Then tonight, temperatures will scale back into the upper 60s. But the bigger concern is going to be those showers and storms overnight into tomorrow morning. Wednesday and Thursday, more rain is expected with cooler temperatures, and then we're going to see more sunshine with temperatures back into the upper 60s for your Sunday.
I'm Marisa Vedra with today's Mental Health Minute. I know we all have some really big goals, and often we're looking at how to achieve it, and we're seeing the mountain that we have to climb. Maybe it's a lot of big leaps in order to get there. But there is big benefit in recognizing those small steps that you can take right now that will still help you get to that goal. We're talking about that today with Adam Katowski. He's the clinical director of the Grundy Unoya Wellness Center. So Adam, you have a phrase for how to attack problems like this. What is it?
Little hinges swing very large doors. What we often get discouraged or stressed about is thinking about an entire future project that we have to complete.
Right.
So the door. Really where we take our control and our freedom back is when we focus on the very next step. And anybody can do the next step. Whereas if you focus on the large door, completing the entire future project, you actually can get caught up and prevented and stressed out about doing it.
Sure. And that first little step is sometimes, we shouldn't feel bad about it being little because it's still going to get us toward that goal.
Absolutely. It's important to know that nobody does one thing extraordinarily. What happens is we take hundreds, maybe thousands of actual little next steps, and that builds into something very extraordinary.
So fight against that feeling that a small step isn't enough, because it is, and it will get you there. So focus on what's right in front of you the next time you take a minute for your mental health.
And for more quick ways to boost your spirits, head to cbschicago.com/mental health minute. You'll find all of our helpful ideas to de-stress and have a better day. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories that we are keeping an eye on today.
A police investigation now underway in the West Lawn neighborhood. Detectives are at 67th Place and Lawndale. This is where there was a shooting involving police. We're told an officer was not shot, but we're still awaiting details as to what led to the shooting, who fired their weapons, and if anyone else was hurt. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability is investigating.
Police say an argument led to someone being shot on a CTA bus in Portage Park. Now, this happened around 11:45 last night on Belmont near Cicero. Police tell us one man was shot twice. Another man was grazed by a bullet near his ankle. No one is in custody.
And today is the visitation for fallen Chicago Fire Captain David Meyer. The nearly 30-year CFD veteran died on Wednesday, responding to a garage fire in the Austin neighborhood. Prosecutors say 44-year-old Charles Green intentionally set that fire. Captain Meyer's visitation is today at Malik & Sons Funeral Home.
With your first alert weather forecast, today temperatures soaring into the low 80s, but then tonight we have a storm risk overnight into your Tuesday morning. We're going to have to see the movement of these storms, see how strong that they could get as we get closer to the event time. Now Wednesday, Thursday, more rain is expected. Temperatures will be cooling off into the 50s and the 60s, holding on to a shower chance on Friday. More sunshine for the upcoming weekend as temperatures climb back into the upper 60s, but a weather alert again has been posted overnight and into your Tuesday morning due to that severe storm potential.
But until that time, a true taste of summer today.
Warm and windy. It's really going to be nice.
Could even open windows in our house.
I can't wait. Gotta get outside today, that's for sure.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues right here on the stream.
Have a great day, everyone, and be safe.